Apex Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely Stream Deck. For more information about the Stream Deck, the link is in the description below. Good evening everybody and welcome along once again into Apex Online Racing. This is season 20 of Xbox One F1 and today we're at the circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal for the Canadian Grand Prix. It's played host to this track since 1978, the year where the man who the track is named after, Gilles Villeneuve, won the event. It's a circuit that is a fan, commentator and driver favourite alike, and you know, the ones who don't like Canada as a viewer really, what's more to like, because there was some great races. There was Canada 2011 where we saw pretty much 6 safety cars and Jens Van did not give up because he was last at one point and then he went on to win the race after a mistake for Sebastian Vettel. And there was also other good moments as well, but I'll touch that a little bit later on. So before we go to the action, let's have a look at the track. Canada is 4.3 kilometers long with 14 turns, 6 to the left, 8 to the right. Now 3 DRS zones for overtaking, 1 at the start of this straight, 1 going into the final quick chicane of turns 13 and 14 and 1 going towards turn 7. The layout of the circuit has remained almost the same throughout the last 40 years, which we'll touch a little bit more about that later on. 3 compounder tyres used for today's race. We've got the soft, which is the C5s, the mediums, which is the C4s, and the hards, which is the C3s, the 3 highest compounder tyres that Pirelli have brought to this track. So without further ado, guys, we are going to get started with some action as we've got 15 minutes left to go of the session. So we've got 14 drivers today, which is a lot better than some races, I've got to say. But the drivers are here to give us all a really, really good show. And I know that the weather could possibly play potential havoc with the strategy, but there's no signs of what the weather's going to do in the chat, so I'm going to be left a little bit surprised. But everyone's on the sauce very, very quickly, so that might suggest that they want to go out very quickly, or it might go really, really dark towards the end of qualifying, and it may be a bit of rain towards the end. You never know. That's why they're getting out very, very quickly. I'm surprised not many people are on the mediums actually. The Squishy Panda is going across the line now to set a 1 minute 8.771. Expect lap time to be around about the 1 minute 8s, 1 minute 7s. Now a few action zones to watch out for today. Turn 1, one of the most prominent overtaking zones around the lap and can often be the scene of many incidents. Turn 3, sometimes it's very tricky due to the braking. Most people late brake around here. And if you ever get a good run and slipstream and DRS, you can send it down the inside perfectly. Turn 5 as well, and also the exit of turn 12. We've seen a few drivers in many seasons of AOR lose the rear of the car, and it doesn't end well for them. So just watch out for those as we go into the session. I'm trying to find someone I can go on board with. Let's go on board with our championship leader right now. He is currently sitting on, I need to double check how many points he's sitting on. He's sitting on 126 points in the championship. A 20-point gap over Bobbitt in second place. Bobbitt is on 106 points. We'll go through the standings later on. So, here we go then. We're going to the start-finish straight then. Taking the shortest run to the line. DRS enabled. Go to the right-hand side. Move over to the left. Apex. Go through to turn 1 and 2. Once you get to the start of the inside curve of turn 2, get on the brakes again. And then an uphill sprint going through to turn 3 and 4. You should be a full throttle around here as well. Just a little bit of a lift going through there as well. Set towards end of sector 1, now heading into sector 2 and heading towards turn 6 and 7. And this is the next DRS straight. And he's slowing down a bit, so I'm guessing he's not that happy with his lap time. I'll just have to wait and see what he does as he just goes past turn 8 and 9. I'll see what he does anyway as he goes through turn 10, the hairpin, but I'm guessing he just wants a little bit of a banker lap time at the moment. Or he might just be going for a lap again pretty soon as well, as I assume he's got plenty of fuel and he could justify that, but you don't really want to be on 2 lap old tyres going into the race. You just don't. And Humperdinck is going out, and I'm guessing he's going out again. Yes, he's going out for a lap again, so I'll follow someone else. I'll follow someone different, if anyone's on a lap actually. No one else is on a lap. Most of the drivers are actually going onto the pit, in the pits lane now. So it gives me a good chance to talk about the championship standings. So as I said, Humperdinck is leading with Bobbers in second. Tom is in third with 99 points. Fourth place is Jonah with 78 points. Fifth place is King Kont with 61 points. Sixth place is Squishy Panda with 56, joint with Alfio. And we've got LGS in 8th. Dago in 9th, Amazed in 10th. Then we got Hyde in 11th, Jake in 12th, Pancakes in 13th, John 14th, GC 15th, KC 16th, Zala 17th, JJ Rox 18th, and Delta in 19th. And who can forget last week's race winner? Let's go on board with last week's race winner, actually. Jonah. Jonah did an outstanding performance in Baku, and it was a really good battle towards the end of the Grand Prix, which definitely sent shockwaves, and he could be a potential dark horse, I've got to say. So watch out for him in Canada. He's going to prove to us that he isn't a one-win wonder. He's not that far off pole position at the moment. He's actually not that far off Hawk and Pancakes at the moment. Pancakes is back. He's in the pits now currently, but yeah, he's back after a couple of weeks off, so that's great to see that he's now back ready to race. But the last race he actually raced in was in China, so it is great to see that he's now available as Jonah cuts the corner there. So that's going to be the end of his next attempt, but he's probably going to go into the pits anyway. So the current pole time, I did say someone would go into the 1 minute 7 towards Pablo with a 1 minute 7.926. Now, for those of you that were watching the F1 esports over on Wednesday, there was some stonking lap times in the 1 minute 7s, but we'll see if these guys can actually get into the 1 minute 7s today. We've seen on PS4 F1, we've seen quite a lot of people in PS4 F1 go into the 1 minute 7s. I actually need to check what the pole time was. I think it was a 1 minute 7.2 was the pole time in PS4. So I wonder if someone could try and beat that today. They are just banker laps though, so Humperdinck and King Kont is definitely banker laps. LGS on his out lap as well, and Alfio is going out again for another one as well. He's got some clear air. I think a lot of people can get the toe there, and watch out for turn 8. That was where Alfio has just invalidated his lap time, unfortunately, which is a bit of a shame for him. So hopefully he can recover, ready for his next lap. He does have a little bit of life in him. Now, for those of you that haven't noticed, Casey's got a Remembrance Sunday helmet on him, which is really nice to see. Love the colours. So massive shout outs to him, and he did post a nice tweet to me on Twitter earlier on explaining it. So good job to that, and happy Remembrance Sunday to everybody as well. As Casey comes across the line, and that puts him in P9 at the moment. LGS is still on a lap as he goes through the tight little hairpin. Now this is where I found in my team you can lose a lot of grip there if your tyres get too hot. If you brake too hard around this hairpin, you're going to probably lock up, because don't forget, these guys are running no assist at all, and they're not going to be relying on ABS. So they just got to rely on pure precision around this track. Some people may call this a street circuit, but in a way, I don't call this a street circuit, mainly because I don't know. Even though it still runs through public roads, it doesn't have much houses or anything like that. But just let us know your opinions in the comments on what you think a street circuit is. Obviously, there are street circuits in Singapore, Baku, Vietnam, and Monaco. My favourite one's got to be Monaco. I like driving Monaco, but let me know your thoughts. So, LGS goes across the line in P8. We've got Pablo is on a lap. Well, he was on a lap, but he's got invalidated. So, he'll be probably going for one final attempt, which he is. Bobbert, who is closing in on Tom and Humperdinck in the championship at the moment, is slowing down. He just invalidated. So, he invalidated turn 3 most likely. We got Pancakes as well going out on his lap. So there he goes, going through this tight little apex and into the left again. There he goes. He did invalidate. I've seen quite a few people invalidate there. And he's on his out lap anyway, so he can go slower there if he wants to. But the corner cutting is strict around this circuit. I think it's strict around most circuits in the AOR calendar. So, you know, some people could get away in some corners with extending, but around turn 4, turn 12, turn 10, you can't afford to do that because otherwise you will lose it and it will compromise your lap a little bit. Let's see how Daegu gets on in the Haas at the moment. So Daegu is currently sitting in 9th in the championship. He didn't have a good result last time about. Unfortunately, he DNF'd as someone has actually hit the Wall of Champions, and that is our provisional pole sitter, Count Pablo. And one thing I actually forgot to mention is the Wall of Champions could catch people out, and it's already caught out one victim today, unfortunately. So hopefully it won't call out anything more. This may put off some people actually completing a lap. So for some people, they may have to go into the pits and try again for one final time. But Daegu had a DNF in Baku. Said he didn't like the track very much. He was a little bit more hopeful going into this Montreal track. He prefers it than most of the other tracks on the calendar. And he's looking pretty good so far, but he's got his ERS mode on 0. So he's trying to save a little bit at the moment. I think he's going to go into the pits, though, at this moment in time. He's on a 109.0, his lap time. So he's still got some time to find. And his teammate is not here this week, so he's not going to have his teammate helping him. There are some teams that have 2 people, so they can help out as much as they want. So Daegu, yep, he's invalidated his lap anyway, and it would have been 109.5, so it wouldn't have been an improvement anyway, so it didn't matter. Pancake's going towards turn 10 and 11 now. So let's see how he does with the DRS. Enables it very, very quickly indeed. Didn't see what his sector 2 split was. Going through the bridge then. This is really hard to not cut and try and avoid the World of Champions, but he did that absolutely beautifully. Comes across the line, 108.1. Puts him in 4th place. A respectable lap time from him at the moment in the AlphaTauri car. Not that far off Tom, which is a 108.001. Tom got 4th place last week. He got 2 podiums in a row before that, but the most important thing in this season, because it's a long season, it's all about the consistency. That's what it is. It's about getting your lap absolutely spot on. And if you don't, it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you. So not many people are on a lap at this moment in time as they all go into the pit lane. It will potentially come to the calm before the storm in a few minutes' time, as everybody will be about to set their out laps for one final time. Now watch out for a busy exit, because there's probably going to be people going out roughly at the same time. In Canada, you definitely want to be one of the last people to set a lap, because the track's going to evolve quicker, and especially around here as well. And we got King Continent's going really, really fast on his lap. He's gone purple in sector 1. I wonder if he's going to go into the pits in time, but I doubt it. But it's a good lap time anyway. We're just going to probably put him high up in the field no matter where he goes, as he's purple sector 2 again. So he is showing that he's one of the favourites in this championship. He's got to score more consistently though if he wants to score higher up. He's 5th in the standings at the moment. He got a podium in Baku and won very strong performances. He did a really good comeback drive, so I wonder if he's going to aim for a podium, if not a win here today. He comes across the line. It's very, very respectable. A 107.6. That puts him a pole position right now. I was not having any doubts about him. He did absolutely amazing. And this is going to be a tough lap to beat, I can tell you that right now. So, the other guys that are waiting in the pits, they're probably going to get a little bit worried. Casey also on his lap at the moment as he goes out for one final time in the 97 car. Seeing what lap time he can do in the Ferrari. Now, there's not many people's home tracks, but there's probably a few Canadians watching here today. And hopefully these drivers are doing you proud. Alfio is not going to have time to set a lap. Last week, he scored quite well in the Alfa Romeo. But unfortunately, he's going to start last on the grid. Maybe it could be a strategy call. You never know with these things. With 2 minutes left to go, then everyone's going to try and fit every fibre of their being right now. Jonah, last week's race winner, he's got some clear air. He could get a little bit of slipstream as well, which will help him a lot. Unfortunately, he's not going to have his teammates to help him. But you never know, Alfio may come out of the pits in time, actually. It's going to be cutting it fine for some of these drivers. Tom, Pancakes, and King Kont not setting a final lap yet. And Jonah is 108.3 at the moment. So let's see what he does on his final flyer. Hawk is going through sector 1 purple. So it is starting, the track is starting to get better. So if people are not out now, then they're really going to compromise their strategy. So King Kont, I believe, is not going to go out in time. Everybody else should be able to make their final runs done before, you know, the checkered flag drops, which is great to see. So, you know, something to watch out for again for these guys. So Hawk going through turn, well, the next DRS straight. Here we go. Let's see how he copes with this one. In the Williams, of course. Williams prone not to do very well in real life, of course. But obviously they're doing very well here. So Hawk comes across the line and it's going to be pole. 107.3 was looking good in all three sets again, just like King Kont was. And I wonder if King Kont is going to improve on that. The championship leader has had a little bit of a spin there, going through turn 1 and 2. So that's going to really affect his chance of getting pole, but I'm sure he's going to be happy with 5th place nonetheless. And he's not going to have time to set one final one, already 7 seconds down already. Pancakes 1/10 up on his previous best, so he could beat Humperdinck. Former teammates, actually. Bobbitt's purple set to 2, so... But anyway, the checker flag is dropping, so... King Kont unfortunately can't improve, he stays second. LGS can only manage 10th. So let's watch Alex Daegu on his lap, and then we will go to SSR Bobbitt's. Unfortunately, Daegu could not improve there as he retired from the session. Bobbitt comes across the line, and someone's hit the wall. I don't know who that was. That was a Williams. Bobbitt can only manage 5th. Squishy Panda, she can only manage 8th position. We got Humperdinck coming across the line now. He's not going to improve his time. And then we got the ApexOnlineRacing of Pancakes. Here he goes then. His AOR return. Let's see what he can do in this race. He's hoping for a really good result. Can he get pole? No, he can't. 108.2. So he does not improve on his previous best. Alfio. Can he come across the line and go from last? Yes, he can. 10th place. So a pretty good lap from him. And what about Amaze? I think Amaze is doing donuts once again. So KC is going into the pit. So he's not happy with his lap either. So it is Hawk that is on pole position. 107.3. Not that far off from the PS4 lap time, which was a 107.2. And, you know, I think we could be on for an interesting race on our hands, I think, today. And we are about to get cracking with the race, but before that, we will be going through the results. And it's not the people that you would expect to be on pole position here today. We have got Hawk, 107.3 in first place. King Kong in second. Pablo in third. Tom in fourth. SR Bobbers in fifth place. Humperdinck in sixth. Pancakes in seventh. Squishy Panda in eighth. Jonah in ninth. Alfio 10th. LGS 11th. Casey 12th. Daegu in 13th. And Amazed in 14th position. And that is your running order. And I was able to scroll through all of them this time without changing a few things. So that was pretty good, wasn't it? So, let us know your predictions in the chat, guys, on who you think is going to be getting pole position. And as I expected it was going to be, because a lot of people were going on the softs very, very quickly at the start of qualifying, we are having a wet start to the race. Xbox One F1 always tends to throw a bit of wet weather into the mix around Canada. So I'm looking forward to this. This could change things dramatically at this moment in time. And with 15 seconds left to go, they don't have to worry about the two-stop strategy for soft, medium, which is the fastest tyre strategy around in the dry conditions. But in the wet, it's going to be different. But I think the way that the rain is falling, I do see Inters waiting in the garages. So I'm guessing what is going to happen is it's going to be an Inter start the race. And we're just waiting for one driver to ready up, and they have, so that's good news. So we are going to go into the formation lap. So let's see if they're on intermediate tyres or not. Yes, they are. They are on the intermediate tyres. So, going forth with tyre data, around here the intermediate tyres last exactly the same as the medium, so around about 19 laps. But you don't want to be going the full stint of 19 laps on the intermediates around here, because it gets really hot, really quickly, and it's obviously harder in the wet. So, potentially, probably go around 15, 16 laps. That is when it's at optimum pace, optimum temperature, and then you can potentially maybe go on some inters and try and stretch out the full stint for the final stint potentially. Or you may want to swap the stint around, we don't know. Or we could see a two-stop inter race, we don't know. That's what excites me about these wet conditions. As a few people have gone off in turn 10, so I expect quite a few excursions around the hairpin today. So we've got to be careful. They've got to brake just a little bit earlier here today. So watch out. So Hawk is your pole sitter with Cont in second. So we've got a Williams followed by a Red Bull. And they're in a different order to what they were in the grid formation, but you know, we will have to find out, of course. So here we go then. 35 laps await our drivers. What can the weather throw at us? What can the drivers throw at us? Everyone is about to start the race. Everyone getting their umbrellas on. I'm certainly getting my umbrellas on. Let us know your predictions in the chat. Who do you think is going to be winning this race? It's going to be a lot that's going on, so you don't want to miss this in AOR. So, the 5 lights are about to come up on your screen at this moment in time. Here they are, long hold, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And it is lights out and away we go. And it's a good start from Hawk in first place. King Kong also got a good start in second place as well. And it's hard to control the cameras at the moment. But look at this, Pablo trying to go around the outside of King Kong. King Kong trying to take the shortest run possible as well. But look at this, the racing point of Tom. is loving it as well. A little bit of wheel banging at this moment in time. A little bit of dirty air and spray as well, which is not going to help the drivers. A few people cutting the corners as well into the grass too, which won't be good for them. I can see Alex Dagu going side by side with Jonah. Alex Dagu doing it nicely there, but losing a bit of position, losing a bit of ground. Hitting the grass once more. I think we do see a little bit of front wing damage from some people, which is a bit of a shame. Casey has dropped all the way down into last place right now. But I think Casey would be taking the most cautious road, I think, to this as well. And we've got LGS trying to make the move past Amaze, going side by side into the hairpin. Banging wheels, all making it through cleanly so far, which is very surprising and very good as well. We can see in the midfield, it's probably going to turn into 3 wide. Don't make it 3 wide. Oh my goodness, it's going to be 4 wide around here if they're not careful. A few of these guys would have to concede and lose the battle, which they do. We can see a big train start to form. No DRS enabled at this moment in time, obviously due to the wet conditions. So all it's going to take is down to pure skill, and Humperdinck has spun. Has a little bit of an off there, and I didn't see who caused that. It might have been him himself, or I don't know, but unfortunately the cameras didn't have a very, very good view of the incident. But no changes up front. The top 3 remain as they are, with Tom catching up Bobberts. Tom had a good getaway start eventually, but Bobberts capitalised on it and gained the P4 back once again. And we can see the leader pulling away. And if it was DRS, he would have almost been away from the DRS train that he wasn't going to hope for. We can see King Kong is pushing with his ERS. You're not going to be using that much ERS in the rain, but you got to be careful that you don't use too much of it in one lap, because otherwise you won't have that much to use in certain points of the race where you'll definitely need it. So it's a really good balancing act, I've got to say, for these drivers. As we can see, King Kong is pushing 7 temps now. Meanwhile, let's look at the battle at the back. Amaze has just got past Alfio for P10. Every point counts here at Apex Online Racing. Anything can happen. And we are going to approach the zone where you only need to brake just a little bit. And if you brake too early around here, that is where you're probably going to end up hitting each other. And you definitely do not want that. As LGS is starting to get some good pace. He's looking really, really good in the wet. Last season, LGS was showing some form in the wet conditions, as does a few of these drivers as well. I think some of these guys weren't liking the wet conditions last season, as LGS saw that was almost a scrape in the wall there. It didn't look like he had damage, and if it was probably very, very minor for him, as he makes it way past the hairpin, as we saw someone spun. That's last week's race winner. Last week's race winner, and luckily he's ghosted, because otherwise he would have hit at the back of KC. So Jonah is all the way down into last place, and you'll probably have to go into the pits. The Alfa Romeo boys not doing too well in Canada. Alfio dropping another place up to 10th. LGS makes his way into 9th position. Mercedes boys not faring any better. Humperdinck, the championship leader, in 11th. Amaze in 12th. That's going to be good news if you are SR Bobberts and Tom, as you try to close the gap within this championship. And there is no sign of the conditions getting any better, so they'll have to get used to these conditions. It is hard to see unless you've got some clear air in front of you, so that is why Hawk is not having that much trouble. And King Kong is definitely loving the pressure in second place. Meanwhile, Squishy Panda, she's right behind Pancakes, trying to make the move towards turn 7 and 8. Pancakes trying to cover off the switchback. It's going to be difficult for him at the moment, as Pancakes and Squishy Panda both leaving as much space as they possibly can. As I think Pancakes gets a better run there. And Squishy Panda, just look at that entry speed that she's got. Using that overtake button, she's got plenty of hers, which has helped her with that corner. And it's up into 6th place. And it's now, she's going to be concentrating in chasing Tom for 5th position. Meanwhile, as well, at the back, we've got LGS, 3 tenths behind Alfio. Alfio's made his way back up to P9. So a lot of people trying to make comebacks happen. And the pit lane loss is not that much around here. So you can't afford really to not do the overcut. The undercut is the most powerful around Canada. Definitely. You've got to use the undercut. It's OP on this game anyway, but definitely around Canada. So you've got to time your pit stops right. Some people may opt for the 2-stop because of that. Because they want to be on the fresher tyres. They want to be on optimum pace pretty much the whole race. And they want to challenge themselves. But again, it does depend on what their rivals are doing. As Alex Daegu just cut the corner there. So I'm assuming that's a warning for the Haas driver as he makes his way near Pancakes. As he tries for a late dive bomb. As he touches Pancakes just a little bit. I think they've got away scot-free with damage. We'll have to wait and see if Pancakes goes into the pit. And if they did get damage, again, it would be minor. It didn't look like it was major to me. But Pancakes is going to be on the comeback. We can see Alfio going for the move as well. So you can see position after position gained for Pancakes up to 7th now. At this moment in time. So Alex Daegu then. Oh, he touches Pancakes once again. I think you're not allowed to do that much wheel banging, and I think Alfio's going to be like, thank you very much. If you don't get that position is mine. But a lot of these guys in the midfield seem to be taking quite more risks than some of the other drivers at the moment. So I wonder if that's going to come back to bite them, and that's not what you want to do, Daegu, as he hits Pancakes once again, as Pancakes drops himself down into 9th, and oh my goodness. So we've got Pancakes, Humperdinck, they've made contact. Jonah as trying to make positions as well. This race has gone from good to bad for Pancakes. I wonder if it's going to be a VSC due to that as well. There was a safety car in PS4 F1, but that was in the dry. But I won't be surprised if we do see a safety car here. I think it's just inevitable, really. And I can see Humperdinck's got severe right front wing damage, so you can't get away with that. His right front wing is completely gone, so he has to go in into the pit lane, which he does. And he's going to change that, which is a bit of a shame. That's going to drop him down into last place. Alex Daegu also comes in. KC is now up into 10th place. Pancakes and Humperdinck. So all 3 of these guys in the pits due to front wing changes. Due to them taking a bit of risk that I didn't think they should take. But in some ways, you know, you have to take some risk. But if you can't leave that much space, then it's no point. Hawk still leads from King Kong, having a really good battle. Still a lot of pressure King Kong is putting onto Hawk. Hawk is having a really good race. Don't forget, Hawk is a reserve driver. Hawk hasn't had good results, but I think tonight it's really going to show us that he is a force to be reckoned with. And he could become a full-time driver really, really soon. So let's see what King Kong does behind Hawks then. A little bit of a lock up there. That's gaining him a bit more entry speed though, heading in towards turn 2. Almost a spin, but he controls that really nicely actually. And I think it's going to get very, very tense. If King Kong had DRS here, I think potentially he would have got the move done, potentially. But we are showing what they can do without ERS. Without DRS, sorry. Obviously, these guys are going to have ERS, but not DRS in these wet conditions. still a bit slippery at the moment, but these guys are getting used to the temperatures of these intermediate tyres. And most of these guys are starting to find a little bit more of a rhythm. Bobbert is just sitting happy at the moment in third place. He's ahead of pretty much all of his rivals nearby, which is Tom and Humperdinck. So he's not gonna be worried about what position he gets as long as he doesn't get involved in that trouble, which he's not at the moment. And Tom, I know, wants to be ahead of him. Meanwhile, got Squishy Panda and Con Pablo. It looked like they were going to go for a move there, but it seemed like Squishy Panda, she was going to back off a little bit there. So here she goes again. Is she going to go for the move now? Nope, she's a little bit too further back to do it right now. She's got plenty of ERS though. And don't forget the overtake button. Some people have been asking questions about the overtake button. You see the green bit by the overtake button at the moment? That is a deployment limit that you can use per lap. If you use all of that in that lap, then you can't use it until the start of the next lap. So it's very important that you don't use too much overtake when you don't need it. Use it on the straights and potentially around here where overtaking is prominent. And in this straight as well. There's quite a lot of straights around here you can use it on. But on the corners, do not use it. It is not worth it. And that's why some people are gaining their ERS effectively and some people are not. And the ones that are gaining are the ones that are going to benefit in the long run. Meanwhile, Pablo and Squishy Panda, they're on potentially pretty much the same ERS. So it's going to be an even Stevens for them. Who's going to be the one that's going to push to use more ERS? Squishy Panda could potentially push Pablo to use more of it. Because Pablo, some people don't know that you can use overtakes to defend position. Because if you don't, it's going to be people on the overtake that's going to dive past you. So you've got to make sure you have enough. Not much battles happening at the moment, but in about 5 or 6 laps time, or maybe 7 laps time, we could consider a few of these drivers go into the pit lane for their first and potentially only stop, unless they do a 2-stop. It looks like they're not going to be doing a 2-stop here. LGS goes and makes a fantastic move past KC. They're up into 10th place. KC is on the comeback. He's not letting LGS get that position. KC not playing cautious now. He wants to gain as many positions as he can. And you can see it's hardly any rain at the moment when you go on board. And DRS is enabled. So it is dry very quickly, but there's still drops of rain just falling. So it is very touch and go at the moment. I was not expecting it to dry this quickly. So we're going to be seeing people go onto the slicks. So what would I do? This could be a 2-stop strategy now. This could be a 2-stop strategy. So the pit crew are ready. Hort's going to have the advantage being the last pit crew in the pit lane. So he won't get hold up. Mediums he goes. King Kont, hards. Bobbett's hards. Tom, what does he go on to? He goes on the hards as well. Squishy Panda goes on to the mediums. So quite a mixture of strategy. Jonah decides to stay out. So I think Jonah's missed that call for DRS. It may not have popped up to him for Jeff. And he's going to be wondering why the guys around him are lapping like 2 seconds faster. Casey, I think, has probably made the same mistake as well. So that is a shame. And you can see that Casey is struggling. Everyone else has gone onto the pit. LGS has gone for an interesting gamble here. LGS has gone for the soft compounded tyres. I wouldn't have done that if I was LGS, but he can. The soft tyres last 12 laps, so it lasts from about lap 11 to, I'm just trying to do math here, 23 laps. So they could go on to another set of mediums at the end, or potentially you can go on softs. It can be possible. So this may be a brainwave for LGS. We never know. But the ones on the inters, they're going to have to play catch-up as Pablo was right on the back of Jonah. Jonah goes into the pits now. I think the timing was just really, really bad at this moment in time. So here he goes. Jonah on the medium tyres eventually. That's going to drop him down a few positions, but it's going to put him not that far of Alfio's. Alfio sets the fastest lap of this race. And I think Alfio's a few seconds ahead of Jonah at the moment. Now 1.3 seconds. Casey now goes into the pits as well. He's had another change in front wing. I think the guys are going to have a busy repair job at the end of this weekend, I've got to say. And a lot of money is going to be spent on new front wings if they use too much. I think we've seen quite a lot of this in Baku, where we saw lots of changes in front wings, which definitely costed a few people, I've got to say, as Casey has got himself a 3-second time penalty due to multiple warnings. And we're seeing more penalties start to pick up because they are starting to push a bit more. And with the DRS enabled now, the ones that are within 1 second of each other can start to push now. But no one's within 1 second of each other except for Humperdinck and Daegu. So very, very intriguing indeed for them. Humperdinck, he's going to use it to full fruition at the moment. Here he goes. Alex Daegu saying, nope, you're not having my slipstream. You're going to have to work for it. And that's very good tactics from Daegu as both of these guys head towards the start-finish straight. And usually the slipstream is all you need to try and gain some time. And Humperdinck's getting the fastest lap now. So we are starting to see, I think every lap we're going to get fastest lap after fastest lap as the conditions start to get a lot better for these drivers, as more penalties are coming into play as well. And we are very excited to see how this race unfolds. Will we see some wet weather again? I was commentating on a race in Canada about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it was dry to wet to dry to wet. It was that intense. And it got the drivers thinking on their feet a bit more. They weren't expecting it to happen anyway. And there was a little bit of plot twist. And nope, it wasn't custom weather either. It was dynamic weather. Meanwhile, both the Alphas are fighting for position. There goes Jonah around the inside of Alfio, and he goes up into 8th position. Tom has dropped down into 6th place. Let's see, actually, who are the biggest gainers in this situation. So I will just look at the biggest gainers right now. So we've got Bobbers has gained 2 positions. Pablo has dropped down 1. Squishy Panda has gained 3. Tom has dropped down 2. Amaze has gained 7. Jonah has gained 1. Alfio has gained 1. LGS has gained 1. And Alex Daegu has gained 2 positions. So those are the people that have gained a lot from this period at the moment. Pablo, though, and Tom need a bit of waking up call, as well as Humperdinck, who's lost a bit of time as he makes his way past Daegu again. Pancakes obviously had an incident earlier which caused him to fall down to 13th place. So not good comeback of dreams that he wanted today. And we're seeing more battles starting to unfold now as conditions get better. King Kong is struggling, and that's allowing Bobbers to saying, hey, I am absolutely pushing for my life at the moment. And we are, let me just get the tyre again. Because Bobbers is on the hards. King Kong's on the hards. Pablo's on the medium. So we're seeing a DRS train starting to evolve here. Very good on the brakes there from Con Pablo. Keeping it easy at the moment. Taking it easy, I should say, at the moment. Because if you don't take it easy, that's when accidents do happen. Bobbers could try for a move. That was a very easy move for Bobbers. King Kong, unfortunately, couldn't respond to that. Pablo could get both of them, actually, in one corner. but he didn't want to rest on his laurels. He didn't want to take that many risks. So for now, Pablo stays behind Bobbert, but he overtakes King Kont. So Pablo's on a combat charge. He was on the fight for pole earlier before he hit the wall of champions, which has still caught quite a few people in qualifying and during the race already. And he's probably going to be not that wide at this moment in time as he's got past Bobbert. So Pablo on a charge now. 7.7 seconds is the gap between him and Hawk. Purple sector 2. If he gains the amount of temps per lap that he needs to, he can start to catch up to Hawk. He maybe warmed his tyres up a little bit more easier compared to Hawk. You never know. And I don't think King Kont is going to get past Bobbert. So we do have a yellow flag, which is probably just people slowing down, I think, with battles or something like that. I don't know. There wasn't many incidents going on, or potentially it could be people trying to do a little bit of wheel bagging, as some people's pit windows are open. So I'm guessing for some of them they're going to pit again, go onto the medium. So did King Kont get damage? I don't know. I'm not entirely sure, but for some of them, Jeff could be a bit weird in terms of strategies, and it did the same for me yesterday, and to be honest, I just ignored it. I ignored it, and it paid off. So sometimes do not trust Jeff in some scenarios, because Jeff is not right all the time. He's never right. Well, he's right sometimes, but not all the time. So King Kont gained a bit more time on Bobbert now again. This could be a really good fight, which could last until the end of this race. Penalties, I think, could be also a deciding factor as to who's going to gain a podium in this race. Hawk setting the fastest lap of this race. We are potentially, with the fastest laps, could see people going into the 1 minute 10s. I think that potentially is what is going to happen right now, as we are halfway into this race now with 18 laps to go. And Hawk has been leading for pretty much the whole race and has never looked back. And he's gained 1.5 seconds on Pablo. He's responded to the challenge that Pablo's put on him, and he's like, right, if you think you can go faster, I can go way faster than you. So I wonder if he's going to respond to that fastest lap challenge. But let's not watch Hawk for the time being, because he's on his own. Let's carry on watching the battles that are going towards the midfield. We're also going to be keeping an eye on the battle between Alex Daegu and LGS as well. Don't forget, LGS is on the soft compounded tyres, the only driver to be on the soft compounded tyre. So he's going to make up a lot of ground, because he will have to pit earlier than everybody else. Because those softs, in those conditions, if I go on board with LGS at the moment, it won't last the duration. So he will have to pit again. What would you do if you were in LGS's situation? When would you pit? When will be the best time to get the undercut perfect? And I think the crossover point is probably now, I think, because of LGS, I think, struggling, whereas Alex Daegu is finding a few more attempts per lap. So, in a way, that's going to put LGS at a huge disadvantage. Because in a normal race, at the start of the race, the mediums would be better than the softs 7 or 8 laps after. So that could be it for LGS, but we will see. Here comes King Kont, going side by side with Bobbert, going into the penultimate few corners, and there we go. King Kont says, thank you very much. He is on for a podium charge here at Apex Online Racing today. We did see someone in the background, almost had a little bit of a graze in the wall there. Hopefully that wasn't too much of an issue for them. But King Kont is back in full swing, ladies and gentlemen. As is quite a few people here in Canada. I'm absolutely loving this race so far and how the strategy is definitely coming into full fruition here today. 9.1 seconds is the gap now between Hawk and Con Pablo. So yeah, Hawk is definitely finding his feet at the moment. You could, if you go on board with Hawk, there was a few moments, especially around the hairpin, where there was still a bit of spray there. So there's some damp bits of the track which people are finding hard. Obviously, the majority of people are dry, but there was some moments where the drivers were driving in some damp parts of the track. And it did dry up very, very quickly, even when it was still raining. So potentially, that's probably why. So let's see what Bobbers can do then. Bobbers did not want Con to go past him, but he did. And I think Bobbers could have the advantage if he saves a little bit. Maybe that's what he's trying to do. Maybe he's trying to save it up for every best opportunity. KC then, 3-second time penalty. I think that's the only lot of penalties that I've been seeing at this moment in time. As we're seeing a little bit of rev glitches at the moment, so I won't go on board with Bobbers, unfortunately, because otherwise you're gonna hear the rev glitch, and we don't want rev glitches, do we? Rev sound glitches. No, we don't. So with penalties, I'm not going to check the penalties until the end. Usually, I don't like checking the penalties at all, because sometimes it ruins the racing in a way. But, you know, it happens. As we can see, Squishy Panda, I think she's not gaining enough to get into the top 4 bubble at the moment. But she's going to be happy with P5. Tom on the hards, staying in a comfortable sit. Amazing run in 7th. But as I was saying that, he's going into the pits. I wonder if he's going on the softs. Nope, he's going on another set of the medium tyres, which will take him till the end of this race. So, for Amaze, he doesn't have to pit again, which I think he'll be happy with, and I think he is going to go ahead of his teammate. I think only just. It is a very tight pit exit. You can see Amaze and Pancakes battling, and yeah, Amaze does get ahead of him by 3 seconds. So that was the time where the undercut was powerful. The overcut was powerful. Usually 9 times out of 10 it is the undercut, but sometimes it is the overcut. It does depend on the gap as well. But again, we'll have to wait and see as the race unfolds. And I do believe Hawk responded to that challenge, so is Pablo. So Hawk goes into the pit for his second stop. And it's a very long pit stop for the Williams car. It might be a glitch though, we don't know, but Hawk goes on the medium, so does Pablo. And I think I'm just trying to see who else is going to go onto the mediums. So we've got 3 people staying out. Squishy Panda to cover off her teammate. Bobbers, I don't know why Bobbers is staying out on the hards. Maybe they think they're going to get to the end, we don't know. But we can see how quicker the mediums are going to be. I think Hawk is going to get past, and I think these teammates work really well together. No challenge there. I think Squishy Panda was saying, you know what, you're faster than me, you go and challenge for that win. So there we go. So good respect from Squishy Panda there. And Squishy Panda could still challenge for this, but I think since Squishy Panda was on a different strategy to begin with, again, there was no other point. So I wonder if Squishy Panda is going to go into the pits now, after Hawk pitted a lap later. Nope, she's not. Squishy Panda is staying out for one more lap. And any of the other medium runners staying out. Let's watch Pancakes and Humperdinck. They're still having a nice battle. Don't forget, according to tyre data, the mediums can last 19 laps around this circuit. So potentially around about lap 30 is the potential point where some of them, I think, want to go on the soft tyres. That's probably why they've been pushing it to the mediums to braking point. That's why they're staying out just a little bit longer. And some people think that they're not. Maybe some people weren't too happy with the medium tyres and they wanted to get out of them very, very quickly. So I know the hard tyres people are going to be going onto the softs. There is no question about that. But for the ones that are staying out for the mediums for so long, they're potentially going to be doing the same. But there is a big risk. Let's just hope that they don't get any punches. Because if they do get any punches, then they're going to be potentially losing out on some big points. And I just mean huge points. And it's, for me, it's better to get a few points than no points. I saw someone in Hungary where he was pushing for position so much that he got a puncher and he loses out all the points and he DNF because of it. So you don't want that. You got to manage your tyre strategy to perfection, I think, at the moment. And I think that is why some people are opting for a different strategy to everybody else. Meanwhile, Hawk gets past Bobbert. I think, no, they're not. They're still going side by side, actually, to the hairpin. But Hawk with the fresher tyres and the softer tyres. There was no challenge there. And we do have a yellow flag. And that's Alex Dagu out of the race. Will we see a safety car? That would be a good timing, actually, if I was King Kont. But no, there is no safety car. So I think King Kont was probably kicking himself, saying, no, there should have been a safety car. But obviously he didn't know the yellow flag situation. So that is potentially why that is the case at this moment in time, that there is no safety car. A massive shout out to everybody that is watching at the moment. So Hawk is now your race leader, with Kont in second, Bobbert in third. King Kont and Bobbert will probably potentially be going on the softs. Squishy Panda 2 and Tom. And I need to check as well how long the hards last for. The hards last for 24 laps. So, doing a bit of maths, we've got 10 laps to go of this Grand Prix. It's a bit of touch and go if these hards can make it to the end. But if we know that the people on the mediums are going to be pushing to their limits, then probably potentially pitting would cause no harm. But if the people on the hards are not gaining, then maybe staying out would be the best option. It's just a question of what you're going to do. And if King Kont wins it from here, or gets P2 for here, that would be amazing. And obviously, if Bobbert's finished where he is at the moment, that would put him, that would extend, well, that will close out the gap to Humperdinck quite a bit. As before the race, the gap was 20 points. And Bobberts will score 15 points today, so that will bring the gap down to 5 points if Humperdinck doesn't score. So Humperdinck will still be in the lead, but the gap would be 5 points. So the championship is definitely heating up here because of Humperdinck's mistake earlier on. And it just goes to show that consistency is key. Definitely is key. As George Russell would like to say at this moment in time. As it is brightening up in Montreal, in Canada. We're in near the USA border. And no sign of rain, so dry tyres until the end of this Grand Prix. Who are the ones that are going to be shining here today? And we're seeing a few shadows as well. The tyre temperatures are going to increase, as well as the track and air temperature as well. So the dirty air is going to be a bit more prominent. So they've got to learn how to use it. King Gaunt is not doing very well with his ERS management at the moment. He's around about 16, 14% at the moment. He's using it on the straights, but he's got to be saving. He's got a comfortable gap to try and save. Bobbers, let's look at his ERS. He's got more ERS than him by like 10%. So I think both of them are probably going to push to use more than the other, and both of them are going to run out anyway, which will allow Hawk to really start to increase by just a little bit more and just continue to be dominant, which is what he wants at the end of the day. And let's see if we have some battles midway through the field. Pablo looking really good behind Squishy Panda. And I think Squishy Panda's tyres are pretty much almost at breaking point. And I think Pablo's going to show that at the moment. Pablo, I think, is looking like Pablo's going to be taking some risks here at the moment. He got Alfio going into the pits. He decided he had enough on those mediums and he's going to go onto the softs most likely. But there we go. Pablo's going to go for the move. Easy pickings for the Ferrari driver. There he goes. Pablo up into 4th place. And Alfio, as I thought he was going to be, goes on the soft compounded tyres. That will definitely last until the end of this Grand Prix. Will Squishy Panda opt to do exactly the same thing? So if I do gap to leader, gap to leader, that would put Squishy Panda, she would be around about P8, which won't be that bad. She'll still score some points. So if I was her, I would pit now, and I mean now. But I feel like she wants to take as many risks, but there's no way those tyres are going to last until the end. So she's probably going to do a little bit of short shifting at the moment. That's what I would do, and maybe do a bit of saving fuel tactics. She does have a yellow warning light of fuel, so I think she's been pushing to the limit. She is a lap over target at the moment. And I think she's going to get very worried if she doesn't manage her fuel anytime soon. Meanwhile, Jonah goes into the pits. Just come out of the pit, sorry. And he is on the soft compounded tyres. Pancake's there in the fastest lap there with a 1:10.0. I did say that we could potentially go into the 1minute 10s here in Canada for fastest lap in race trim. And just to point out, actually, let me just have a look at what was the fastest lap. It was set by Valtteri Bottas a 1:13.078 back in 2019. So these guys are absolutely smashing it in these cars. Just goes to show how this game has evolved within time. So very, very interesting there. A few more laps to go. Will the order change? And Squishy Panda, she's not giving up on that position. I wish I was a Jeff, because same with Humperdinck right now, and with his Jeff, for both of them, I'll just be like, guys, you need to pit. There's no way those tyres that you're on now are going to make it to the end. So you need to pit now. Probably they've forgotten, I don't know. And they're probably going to remember when it's too late, which is a bit of a shame, unfortunately, but it happens. It definitely happens. So let's see if Squishy Panda goes into the pits now. Is she going to be going into the pits? Nope, she's not. What about Humperdinck? The ones on the hards, they can stay for the duration, but the ones on the mediums that have been on since the end of the rain period, they're going to be in a bit of a danger. And we can already see more lockups from Humperdinck, and with 20 lap old mediums, you don't want to be getting lockups like that. So I wonder what lap would it be when they would get the punches. So is Humperdinck going to go in? Nope, he does not. So maybe the medium tyres maybe last a little bit longer. We don't know. Maybe due to the fact that the first few laps on those dry tyres were at much cooler temperatures. That's probably why they could go on for a little bit longer, which I think that is why. So maybe that is why. We will have to wait and see. But this is definitely giving me something to be very, very tense about. Just like Hamilton versus Verstappen in Monaco, where I just thought that there was no way that Lewis's mediums was going to make it until the end of the race, and it did. So you never know, the ones on the mediums could prove me absolutely wrong. But I just doubt they're going to do it. I just don't know. Only time will tell. Only time will tell. We're only going to start noticing the difference if they start to drop in times. And the only battles that we're having on track is between Pancakes and LGS. And Bobbert and King Kong. Well, let's watch Pancakes and LGS. Pancakes on the fresher softs. I think he's going to get the jump this time. There we go. There's a little bit of a lock up there, but that hasn't costed any time. I don't think LGS is going to go for the switchback though. Ooh, maybe. He almost went for the switchback. He was thinking, it was like, ooh, maybe not. Maybe not. So, yeah, that is allowing Pancakes to stretch the gap a little bit. And like I said, I would have to say, penalty central around Canada. I think USA is also another track where people could get loads and loads of penalties. So with 1.5 laps to go around this lovely circuit, we could be on for an interesting fight. But who's going to get the last podium spot? Is it going to be Con Pablo or is it going to be Bobbert, as Bobbert is losing a bit of time on those worn hards? The hards could last 24 laps, so they're almost at their operating window. But again, the track was much cooler at the start of the dry stint, so again, it will last a bit longer. Squishy Panda, she's dropped 2 seconds. I'm just a bit worried for her. I think the damage is done, at the moment, for her. But anyway, let's watch Pablo. Pablo with the DRS. Bobbert, I think, was not challenging there, but he could challenge towards the penultimate corner. Nope, he does not. Very nicely tight run there from both of these drivers, as we are now approaching the final lap of this Canadian Grand Prix. We have 3 cars fighting for 2 spots on the podium. And for Humberdinck and Squishy Panda fighting for their lives to keep their mediums intact. I don't know how these guys are not getting a puncture yet. But I just don't. I don't know how they're making it last this long. Fair play to them. I think what is helping Squishy Panda at the moment is the fact that she's been mostly in clear air for her final stint. So that's why she's been saving her tyres just a little bit more, allowing her to do this. But meanwhile, let's go on board with the one who's been dominant from start to finish. He took the lead. He stayed there. He got pole. And he's going to win the race today. Hawk wins the Canadian Grand Prix. Congratulations to him. And who's going to get the final podium spot? It's going to be close. So King Kong gets P2. No, Pablo gets P2. King Kong gets 3rd. Bobbert gets 4th. Joining the AOL car park. And Squishy Panda, her risk paid off. She gets 4th place due to penalties on 25 lap-old mediums. Absolutely incredible. So well done to her. Bobbert's in 5th. Tom 6th. I want to ask her actually what her tyres were at the end in terms of tyre wear. And I'm worried. Does Humberdinck have a puncture? No, they do not. But Humberdinck and Pancakes going side by side. Pancake gets 9th. Alfio 10th. But who's going to get 11th? I think Humberdinck gets them both due to penalties. So yeah, Humberdinck does get the final point. So the gap would be 14 points, I believe. Actually, no. 11 points. Due to the fact that Bobbert's got 4th due to penalties, so. So we're about to load the podium celebrations, but Hawk definitely needed the good luck today, and to be honest, I am very, very happy that he's delivered. He showed what he's made of, and I believe it's his first AOR win in Tier 1, and definitely well deserved for the Williams driver. And I can safely say that he likes Canada, and quite a lot of people like Canada as well. And we're about to take you through the results then of the Canadian Grand Prix. And not many people had no penalties. I think everybody has got penalties here today. Yeah, they have. So anyway, here's your race rundown. Hawk from Pablo, from King Kong, from Squishy Panda, from Bobbert, from Tom, Jonah, Amazed, Alfio, and then Humperdinck. And then we got LGS and Pancakes and KC. And your retirement, your only retirement here tonight is Alex Dagu. What a shame for him. Could have ended so well, but unfortunately he made a little bit too many mistakes, which caused his retirement. But the fastest lap goes to Pancakes, but unfortunately they do not get any points for that, which is a bit of a shame. But there we go, it happens. So I'll just let you skim through the results really quickly just to see what's happened. But yeah, Hawk started on pole, went on to take the win. Absolutely incredible. I really enjoyed that race. It's just a shame that he's not a full-time driver, because I wonder what he would have done if he was a full-time driver. But we'll have to wait and see. So we'd like to say thank you guys so much for watching the Canadian Grand Prix. We go to round number 10 this week. And I believe that is France, I think it is. I think it's France. And France definitely brings out some changeable conditions there as well. But it is known for a testing circuit. It's not the best place to overtake, but I know producing some very good races there. And to be honest, I do not want you to miss it next week. Make sure you join us same time at 8 PM UK time for the Canadian Grand Prix. For the French Grand Prix, sorry. I've been Jessica into 95. I'll let you enjoy the rest of your evening now. Hope you all have a splendid evening, and we will see you next week for the French Grand Prix. Goodbye.